Won't get it. You see what I'm saying? If you will. So here, you got to be aware of how many observations are falling into that dummy variable category and not make too much of it if it's not many. Okay, we'll do that. When we have some of our projects, I'll have you check descriptive statistics. You'll look at the Trump data. You'll do that analysis, okay, in y'all's in-class project and try to do some stuff with it, okay? But if it's just one observation, you get nothing from that. It just picks it. Okay, now, let's do this. Let's practice with a couple things. So just relax for a minute. Now, pay attention to how this is done, and then I want to show you some data, okay? Let's say we're doing some study, and we've got religion in it, okay? Now, guys, the religion variables are personally interesting to me. They are less interesting to the UK student body, okay? Now, but would you agree, let me just ask you a question. Would you agree that if you were doing a study of alcohol consumption, would you agree that it may be important to know whether the student was a Catholic, a Protestant, or a Muslim? Do you think that those effects could affect the results? Catholic, Protestant, no religious affiliation. Let's throw that in there. And Muslim. Do you think that would matter? Right. Now, it's hard to get undergraduates, especially ones that don't do anything with religion. They just want to do the labels. Okay? Now, let's do this. Now, help me here now. Help me now. Let me use this. When I lived out west, I lived out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and then taught at Washington State, that kind of thing. You have a higher concentration of Mormons. Okay? Now, we probably got some Mormons in here. Got a higher concentration of Mormons. Now, it was always in the discussion, especially when I was young and a college student, okay? I used to go out with some of the Mormon college students, if you will. I think the only reason they went out with me, if you will, was to convert me, okay? And I was okay. There was some, okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? Now, right. Right, I had a higher success rate going out with these Mormon girls. They were pretty darn attractive. I lived in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, south of Yellowstone for a couple of summers when I was in college, and they'd have all these playhouses things. So I would ask some of the people in the plays out, and I was shocked that they went out. Okay, it turned out they were trying to do some conversion. That's okay. That's cool. Now. But among Mormons, I'm coming to the Muslims. Among Mormons, there were so-called really devout Mormons that wouldn't drink tea, coffee, or alcohol. And then I would get the other, I can't remember if it was Jack Mormons or something, that didn't pay much attention to the rules, okay, of the Mormon church. So then if you ask this, now first off, would you consider it to be interesting if we had enough Mormons here in the data set to see the effect of being Mormon on alcohol consumption? Would you consider that be interesting? I would. God, I would. Now, then you'd like to say among the Mormons, could it be some way to measure their commitment? Do you see what I'm saying? Without asking. See, if you have that, now watch this now. Undergraduates, I love my undergraduates now. Undergraduates want to ask people, what's your commitment? That's kind of willy-nilly. Is there a hard variable that we can put in there and measure it? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Right? I mean, it's sort of like asking somebody, you're going to be committed to me when you marry me. Well, what's everybody going to say?
Yes.
Yes, how many do? Few. Right? It's worthless. How will y'all be that good? 3 years later, you're going, what the hell happened? Right? Your word wasn't any good. Nobody's is in that case. You got to show it. Now here, among the Mormons, Muslims, is there a different? Okay, maybe it would be this. So look. If I was teaching the Middle East, should I get the different types of Muslims in the data set? Would that matter? Right? You said, now, let's do this. At University of Kentucky, this is how the surveys will be, and I'll show you the one on marijuana. They're going to ask you to circle your religion. One is Protestant, and we tell them what that is. Protestant is like Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Presbyterian, Church of Christ. That's Protestant. Then we got Catholic. People usually know if they're Catholic. Yeah. So I got one girl in one of my class that's a Protestant, and she said, Bob, I didn't know what Protestant meant. Okay. So she's Protestant. Then you got Catholic. Then we got no religious affiliation. People usually know that. And then we got an other with a blank there. Now, the other categories are worthless if you don't know what it is. Okay? And undergraduates like to have an other. Then you got an other variable in there. Well, what is other? What is it? We don't know what it is. Okay, now, let's act like here we actually going to have some Muslims in this thing. So we're going to, these are going to be the groups that we have. Now, we're going to set up dummy variables. Okay, and I'm going to show you in Excel. So we got Protestant, we got Catholics, we got no religious affiliation. I always spell affiliation wrong the first time. And we're going to hit the jackpot and get some Muslims. God, that would be fantastic in the study. Okay? Now, that's our four categories. Now, if we have 2 Jews, if you will, don't get many, we always ask. We always put it. If we get like 3 Hindus, what do you do with them? You don't have enough, you pull them out of the study. They're not in the study. You understand what I'm saying? They're not in that. Okay? Now here. Now, what I want to do is now, what would you pick as the omitted condition? Doesn't matter, but make it something that's non-trivial in size. What would you make as the omitted condition? I wouldn't do Muslims if we only had 10. I want my omitted condition. Now, it really comes down to what do you really want to compare against? That's what it really comes down to. What do you want to compare against? Do you understand? Because dummy variables are you comparing against the omitted condition directly, if you will. Now, here, why don't we put Protestant as the omitted condition? Okay? Now, how would we then set this up? Well, okay, then you'd have 3 variables, right? You'd have 3 variables. So you've got Catholic, that's one of the variables. So Catholic would equal 1 if you are the Pope, if you're Catholic. Okay? Now, and it would equal 0. Would we put Protestant here? No, it's otherwise. I'll show you that. It's otherwise. It's otherwise. So you get a 0. Now, this is going to be a variable in the data set. Catholic's going to be a variable in the column. So it's going to equal 1 for every student that's a Catholic. And if you're not a Catholic, you get a 0 in that column. I'm going to do that. Now, then you'd have the variable no religious affiliation. And that variable zoomed in terms of the amount of those over my lifetime. Equals 1 if you declare no religious affiliation at all. Okay? Equals 0 otherwise. Okay? We got that. Okay? Now, and then we got Muslim. But do you see how I'm defining this? I'm going to have y'all do it at the end of class today. So you can't just say, well, I'm going to have a variable in the model that's religion. Well, whoopee-doo. How are you defining religion? Religion is is binary variables. You got to set up the dummy variables, right? You got to set the dummies up. You got to tell them how you're doing it. Now, and by the way, you don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, next. So next you got a Muslim, okay? You're Muslim, good. Equal 1 if you're Muslim, okay? Equal 0, other, okay? We good? Now, let's do the data set. Now here. Let me show you the data. Now we're in Excel. We're going to have 3 variables across the top of this thing. So one variable is Catholic. The other variable, if you will, is no religious affiliation. The other variable is Muslim. Okay, so that's the variables. And you're creating the variables. Okay? Now this is the observation sitting there. Okay? So this is student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4. Okay? Now, I'm going to point to you guys. Don't tell me the religion that you are. Pick another one. Okay, this ain't about, okay, I'm this. Okay, so pick another. Okay, now, you're the first student in the study. Okay, you and I both saw that. No, you didn't see the first one come out of it. Now, okay, we're still trying to get over that. Now, okay, well, your observation 1. What religion are you? Pick something that you're not.
That I'm not?
No, yeah.
Catholic.
Okay, Catholic. Okay, now, observation 1, Andy. Okay, so what does he get for Catholic if he's not Catholic? Wait. What did you pick? You Catholic?
Yeah.
Okay, so he said he's Catholic. So what does he get right here?
1.
Oh, hey man, y'all look quick. What does he get over here?
0.
Hey man, what does he get over here?
0.
Okay, fantastic. When we look at that, can we tell that he's Catholic? Okay, Andy, what are you? Don't tell me the truth. Make up something. Pick one of the other 3 categories.
No religious affiliation.
Okay, no religious affiliation. Okay, now, what does he get for Catholic? Okay, good. 0. What does he get for no religious affiliation? 1. Okay, amen. What does he get for Muslim? 0. Okay, 0. Okay, now, you're going to be a Muslim. Okay, Mitchell's a Muslim. You're a Muslim. Muslim. Okay, right? Now, so what's he get for Catholic? 0. Okay, good. 0. What's he get for no religious affiliation? 0. Okay, 0. Muslims are religious affiliation. Okay, now, here, right? Would you agree? Okay, now, Jay, you are going to be a Protestant. Okay, yeah, probably right. He goes to church. For me, he's a. I'm making that part up. Okay, he's a Protestant. Now, so now, what do we give him for each one of these? 0. Right, 0, 0, 0. So now let me do this for a minute. Do you see why with Catholic, you're Catholic, you get a 1 if you're a Catholic, if you will, and you can't say 0 if you're a Protestant, because what do you do when the person's no religious affiliation or Muslim? What do you put? See what I'm saying? You're like, I don't know. You grouped it up. So again, you define these dummy variables with 3 or more conditions. The 0 is always otherwise. If you put the 0, if you will, if you did this and screwed up and said Protestant, if you will, well, what do you put for the no religious affiliation of Muslim? Right? Right? Now, so let me see if I can summarize this. Now, these things are easy enough to set in there, if you will, like this. And then also you can tell, hey, observation 4 is the Protestant. Right? And calculate them. We good? Okay, now. Okay, now. Let's do this for me, okay? Do y'all remember from last class how we interpreted the regression coefficients in a multiple regression when we had x1, x2, x3, say in the model? Let's say we got 3 independent variables. So we got beta 1, x1, beta 2, x2, beta 3, x3, okay? Can y'all remind me of how we interpreted beta 2? Can somebody just tell me, to be very precise right now, what's beta 2? 1 unit increase in x2 on y on average. Now, on average is understood. Keep going. The effective x1 going up by 1 on y. Do you believe that? Holding all other. Well, okay, now be specific on what variables are held constant. Well, okay, name them. It was x1, x2, x3. We were doing beta 2, so what's being held constant? X1, x3. Right? The idea of a controlled experiment. Right? A controlled experiment. Do you think you got that? How you feel about that? If you got it, you're the first group I've ever taught that got it. Okay, I'm hoping you got it. I'm hoping you got it. Now, let's look at some stuff, okay? Now, let me show you something, okay? Let's look at this study first, okay? And I'm going to blow it up and turn the lights up. Now, I showed you this for points last time, right? Now, look at all of those variables, okay? Let me kill the lights for a minute. Just looking at all the variables in the file. Can you all see that okay? Does it need to be bigger? You okay? Thank you. Guys, I'm going to write that whole population regression equation on the board. But can I get y'all to do this? Talk among 1 or 2 or 3 of you, if you will, whatever, and think about the sign for the coefficient for each variable. So it's going to be beta 1 points. What do we expect for beta 1? Then beta 2 years in MBA. So what do we expect about beta 2? Positive, negative, ambiguous. Positive, negative. Do it for every one of the coefficients and be prepared to tell me why. Do you understand? For every one of the coefficients, just think among yourselves a little bit. Okay?
Positive.
I think years and years. As you get older, salary decreases once you have to work.
you get it will be fixed. Like, so if I pass it to you, and you immediately score afterwards, you get the point. So it's just another category. Yeah, so you have I would think that, yes. I would also think, because I would think that if you're
So they're thinking more you do the higher
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, what? I can't hear you.
As a European, why don't have the Asian beer?
There's not enough of them, so they have to take it out.
No, I don't think at the time. It was guards in the NBA. So we surely wouldn't obviously have been sinners when Yao Ming was there and that kind of thing. Of course, it spread. The NBA is huge in China. Yeah. I don't think we had any. I mean, we wouldn't. Yeah. Okay, now, okay, guys. Okay, now I'm not going to comment. I just want to see what you got, and then I'm going to show you another. Okay. Now, talk to me. Beta 1, positive or negative. Tell you what. Now, get ready. Okay, get ready. I'm just going to go. Okay? Now, beta 1. Okay? Class, you okay? Beta 2. Positive. Class, you okay? Now, it's going to turn down, ultimately, but it'll be quadratic. We're not doing that yet. Beta 3. Are you okay? You okay? Beta 4. And guys, don't worry on the exam. It's not going to be a sports exam. You don't have to worry about that. Like, holy cow. Now, okay, beta 5. Well, beta 5. Positive. Okay, positive. Do you agree?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Ambiguous.
Okay, what do you want me to put? And we'll see. We'll ultimately put what the class kind of goes with, but you start us off.
Yeah, I put positive.
You put positive.
Yes.
Class, what do you think?
Yeah.
Positive question mark.
Okay, positive. Now, why question mark? Talk to me. Why do you think positive? Now, I know that the Asian students are probably at a disadvantage in this exam. Okay, I'm aware of that. Okay? Why would you put positive there?
The higher grade of videos are African Americans, or the highest grade.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Jay, thank you.
The NBA it's more populated with African Americans than any other.
Yeah, they were going to do starting guards, if you will. And they wanted to see if there was any discrimination across races, if you will. And then we were starting guards. They come back the next day and say, Bob, there's no Caucasians that started guard in the NBA. So they went to all guards, starting on the bench. So you want beta 5 to be positive.
Negative.
Okay, how about, okay, go ahead.
I think the majority number of the NBA players are African Americans. So some of them have the higher salaries, but some of them have the lowest salaries. So I cannot 100 sure can say is it positive or negative.
Okay. We'll put positive plus, okay? Justin, your opinion.
I would go with ambiguous.
Okay, you would go with ambiguous, why? Obviously, the omitted condition is Caucasian, right? White, okay.
But if you think about the NBA, first and foremost, you're not gonna have that many Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
They're there, but not compared to the majority.
Yeah, and the league has changed some since then. And by the way, Tony Parker would have been a European, right? From France, right? Black man from France. So he's not an African American, he's in America, right? He might have citizenship now, whatever. So that's that was an issue. What do we do with Tony Parker, right? Now, so what do you think? You want to go with? Okay, let's do this. Now, any thoughts on beta 6 class? It helps to know a little here.
I thought it would be pop.
Go ahead now, come to it. Go ahead.
I think it would be negative.
Negative.
Um,
Why?
Because typically in the NBA, like over time, European players weren't looked at as very good. They were looked at as, not generally as good in that basketball as American players.
Okay. What we got over here? Thank you. What we got over here?
So originally I said positive because I felt like if a European player was going to come over to play in the league and they were good enough to play, then more likely than not they're going to get a higher salary. But what Sam said just made me think that maybe they're coming over just because there's potential to get paid more and not because they're actually getting paid more. So.
Do you see that the issue Cole brought up, it doesn't exist with the African American white comparison? The European player does have this issue of coming over from the European league and maybe having to be enticed. It could see the model. Obviously, the real world model is more complicated than what we have. All we have is the salary in 2010, 2011, with the statistics the previous year. We all know it's more complicated than that. Okay. Now, what do we have then? What do we got for beta 7? Okay, positive. How about beta 8?
Positive.
Okay. Now, so let me do this. Okay. Now we're going to do another one. I would come in here and go here, and I would do that. That's what I do. Okay. Now I'm not going to give away my hand yet. Now look next at this. Okay. Let's look at this stuff. Okay. Now this is this thing rocks right here. This was done the spring of 2011. Now listen. We're going to look at the variables together here. Okay. So they surveyed here second semester freshmen. So, can you see it? Now, so here, it's my little light work. Okay, good. First semester GPA UK. Would you agree that that's important?
Yes.
Yeah, first semester GPA UK. Now again, Asian students, international students, a little bit of disadvantage on this. Okay, in terms of seeing this. That won't be the case on the exam. Okay? Now, so would you agree that trying to predict GPA UK may ought to matter for ACT and high school GPA? Would you agree that they should be in there? Yes. Would you agree
Yes.
that they'd be kind of big dogs?
Yes.
Right. And I'll probably end up having you manipulate this data set. Okay? Now, so credit hours, how many credit hours did you take the first semester? Yes, it turns out that doesn't vary a lot, if you will. Now, how much did you study per week your first semester? Okay? How about the income of the family income, if you will? Public school, if the student went to public school, 0 if they went to private school. Then we got male, female, then we got the race group. Right? And then we got Caucasian. Okay? That's the model. Okay? Now, let me see if I can do this, okay? Y'all think about what effects they're going to be in here. Some of these are pretty fuzzy, okay?
Come as in.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you say? Private schools join earlier. smarter kids because they generally because they concentrate on more school and public school just goes out and parties.
Or
Really?
it could be that.
That's not the case back at home.
Yeah. That one makes you go. Yeah, I think so. Study out. Obviously, if you study out,
What about like credit hours? Like, does that really matter? Credit hours. Because like normally they take 12 to 15 the first one. Yeah.
well, you know, you have hard I would think so, but again, it's around the street.
You don't think people with a GPA of 1.5 and a person with a GPA of 4.0 they're
You
going
can't get into it. You can't get into it. You can't graduate with
I
5.
think so. Yeah.
I think alright, let's say that you need a 2.0 or whatever, 2.5. Yeah, you can. You can.
I got denied before 4.1.
I felt that would be better.
Yeah. 4.1. I don't know if it's called here, but I think it's crazy.
It might make it,
But let's just say, like, look at it number wise, like a 1.5 and 4.0. You don't think that matters coming into college? They're going to make a higher GPA.
No, I had a friend with a 4.6.
Especially focus on male through Hispanic. Especially focus on male through Hispanic. Okay? We'll talk in a minute. 1 minute.
That positive for the graduation. Yeah. I think the African American Hispanic.
Yeah.
Do what? Huh? Yeah.
What? I don't understand.
So like, for example, I know that when I was a resident advisor, I would have kids who were in majors who was going into healthcare, and their GPAs the first semester on average were much lower than students going into, say, a undecided or more liberal arts.
No, and that's a great point. No, and that's a great point. Right. Right. I think that's great. Let me throw you a curveball and ask you this. First off, do we all agree that that could be some important results there? What would be, you think, the most important variable to see? If you ran that, what one would you most want to see if it's statistically significant? Now, guys, chapter 5, we look at how you tell that, but a lot of you done it. What variable would you be most interested in? What?
Study hours?
Okay, study hours, okay. Incredibly hard to measure, but
Public schools.
okay, public schools, okay.
High school GPA.
High school GPA,
Family income?
family income. Nobody's picked what I would look at. It's okay.
Race.
The male.
I look at gender and race. I look at gender and race. Okay, now let's do it. Okay, let's do it now. Now, don't miss it. You missed it on the NBA. You did what everybody else does. Okay? What do we expect from A to 1?
Positive.
Positive. Okay? Now, by the way, we'll find this out. What percentage of GPA is explained by ACT and high school GPA by themselves?
26.
Wonder what the R squared is with just those two. Just to tease you. What do you expect with A to 2?
Positive.
Which one of these, by the way, do you think explains more of UK GPA? ACT or high school GPA?
ACT.
We find that out too. It's a lot of regressions you can run to find out. Okay, credit hours.
Wait, you can say sure.
More credit hours you take, the higher your GPA.
I would think,
No way.
yeah.
Depends on your
Hypothesis.
Ambiguous.
Negative. We got negative.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm getting a little bit more confidence in you. Okay, study hours. Now again, this is a monster to measure. If you're sitting there with your girlfriend doing this, Is that study time? Hell no. That's mooning time. Right? So study time. I mean, I studied with a woman one time in my college career, and the only reason I did was I wanted to date her. I ain't studying. I mean, hell, Okay, so we hope it's positive, right? Right? Yeah, by the way, study time is a marathon in terms of, you build on it. Right? Now, y'all know, y'all are kind of professional students, if you will. But this is the thing that's hard to get undergraduates to realize. For you people that follow the NBA, Blake Griffin last night had 50 points or whatever for the Detroit Pistons. And I'm not a huge Blake Griffin fan, but I sat and read that he's quoted that hard work pays off. And I wanted to just kiss him right through the ESPN website. But he said that he'd been injured the last 3 summers and all he could do was heal. But the previous summers, other than this last one, but this last one he was able to work on his game, and he said, "I'm a big believer in hard work." Do you want a way to succeed? Hard work. That's it. Right? In America. I would think the same in China now. In America, usually, now here, beta 5. Negative, high income. And this really goes at the heartbeat of what I'm really asking you about. So let me hold these two for a minute. What do you think here? Making the same mistake. Why are you saying negative? Because you're thinking sloppy and you're saying girls are better students than guys. You forgot what beta 7 is. Interpret beta 7. It's effective being a male versus a female. Now finish it. Finish it. Okay, holding everything else constant. Tell me the big 2 things you're holding constant.
Study hours.
No. The 2 big things you're holding constant. ACT and high school GPA. You're holding the quality of the student constant. Let's do this. Let's do this. What did you screw up here? Why did you think African Americans would get paid more? Didn't you see all the other variables in the model? You stepped right in cow manure. Love you, but you got it all over you. You fell in it. Okay? You got cow doo-doo all over you. These variables right here control how good you are. See how this is so much more interesting? This is not whether black players make more than white players. Hello! The NBA is dominated by African Americans. That's no information. What is beta 5 testing? Give me the word, starting with a D.
Diversity.
What?
Diversity.
No. No. Y'all ain't sexy as I am. Y'all are boring. Discrimination. Beta 5's to testing discrimination in salaries because you're holding constant how good the player is. You're doing a controlled experiment when you couldn't do a controlled experiment. Ain't this great? God, I should have majored in regression analysis. Do you see? Now, you could say, Bob, I think there's some other variables not being captured here. Maybe like the leadership stuff. In the Blake Griffin article, the coach was talking about, I forget the coach's name, he came from Toronto and got fired, but anyway. Casey, Brian was sitting there saying, Blake Griffin's talking to him all over the court. He's the leader. He's talking to him. So that variable's not captured. Okay? That variable. But do you see this? We've got, if you will, we're controlling for how good the player is, or how many points. So now let's act like this. So when we do this, 20 points a game. 8 years in the league. 8 rebounds a game. 8 assists. We're controlling for that. It's as if it's a controlled experiment, and then we make you black versus white. Should that affect salary? Do you need me? We got 3 students. Raise your hand. I'm going to give it to you. You got 3 students that have come in. Can you add them? Can you add them? Guys, can y'all just call 10 to you, if you will? If you can't, we got to get you. So if you will, can you just add them while I kind of go with this thing? Okay? Kind of do this. Now, guys. So now, okay, let me ask you a question. Let me teach you. Now, if you don't, you keep on. If you don't follow, do you see what beta 5 is doing now? Now, I know we've got to take a break in a minute. Do you see what beta 5 is doing, okay? Beta 5 is kind of measuring, would the fans rather see black players than white players of equal ability? Or get paid? Think for a minute who your favorite players in the NBA are if you follow it. Has anybody got a favorite player that's white? It's hard to come up with them. Right? Right? You see what I'm saying? Now, this would be an awful interesting study to do in China. Stephen Marbury, ended up was a huge success. These would be awful interesting studies in some of these other countries on, is it any discrimination in salaries in these other countries? That would be an amazing study. That'd be an amazing study. Okay, now, so here, Beta 5 is capturing for the same player, do you get paid more? Is this statistically significant? Okay, now, when we come to this, now, so male, given that we're controlling for how good a student you are coming into UK. So this is somebody, say, with an ACT of, we'll say, 26, that's got a high school GPA of 3.8. So we got the guys over here with 26 and 3.8. We got the more girls. The girls with 26 and 3.8. Should they perform differently in college?
No.
Now, if Beta 7 ended up being, say, positive, suppose Beta 7 was positive, what would that suggest? Or if that's negative, what would that suggest?
Teacher's grade.
Right. See, if Beta 7 was negative, now Beta 7 may be the hottest one. If Beta 7 is negative, that's saying this. For the same quality of the student coming in, the African American is performing not as well the first semester at UK as the Caucasian. It begs the question, why? For the same quality of student. For the same quality of student. Then you would kind of say, well, what if it's too many Caucasian faculty and we need more diversity? Right? Or maybe the exams have some kind of white bias on it. You fill it in. But do you see that it might be kind of interesting to test it? Now, folks, I don't want to get into this, but the world is not a world where we test these things. I would contend we don't want to know. I would contend we don't want to know the results. If you see how the power of this? Do you see the power of it, if you will? Now, if you will, you doing okay? Yeah. It's a little bit of a problem when people don't get here on time. Okay, now, so if this thing was positive, then it could be a male-dominated faculty or something, if you will, so when you run it. So when we run this model, I tell you what, my eyes are going to be glued right there. And then right there, in terms of doing it. Okay? See what it picks up? Now, let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and use some samples.